Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, December 1st, 5:43 a.m. Central Time as I speak here. March corn futures down 1.5 at 665.5. January soybeans down 10.25 at 1459.25. March Chicago wheat down 5.5 at 790. March Kansas City wheat down 5.75 at 894. March spring wheat down 6.25 at 936.75. If you guys are listening on the podcast, appreciate it as always. Ratings, reviews, very much welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, drop me a comment. If you have any sort of opinion on anything that I say here, basis updates, crop updates, weather updates, just drop in to say good morning. All that stuff will really help YouTube to help me to grow this channel. If you'd like some additional information from me, guys, visit my website, www.standardgrain.com. Check out my premium subscription service today. I send my premium subscribers a ton of information direct from me every single business day. Morning email goes out about 5:30 a.m. Central Time. Tons of info in there. Every overnight headline you need to be aware of. Charts, graphics, weather info. My daily subscriber-only videos are part of this. Yesterday, I had another video regarding the forthcoming expansion in U.S. soybean processing. I was joined by another really great guest. Gordon Denny was a guest yesterday. He's doing some work with the United Soybean Board, also with the Soybean Export Council, doing a lot of PR work, traveling around the world, discussing this issue. Had some great insight yesterday. When you guys sign up, you'll see the last 6 subscriber-only videos in the email the next day. So you'll see this video along with the soybean crush video that I did with Steve Nicholson earlier this week. Tons of great information out this week just in these videos, guys. Sign up today, $50 a month. Cancel at any time. No other fee, no other obligation. Nobody will try to sell you anything else. All right, let's get into the headlines here. Rains are slated to hit key Brazilian soybean growing areas over the next 10 days. Barring some of these like far southern areas, the vast majority of soybean growing areas in Brazil are going to see some rain here over the next 10 days. And the extended forecast looks wet as well. The timing is really good. A lot of farmers in Brazil have completed soybean planting. I believe well-followed private group Ag Rural said that the crop was 87% planted through last Thursday, which means that they're north of 90% nationally as of this very moment in all likelihood. So this is a good-looking forecast for Brazil. Now, Argentina is a little bit different deal. Argentina is very dry. Planting has been delayed. I think it's very likely that you see crop reductions in terms of the estimates for Argentina and maybe increases for Brazil. Maybe they offset, maybe they don't. But long story short, Brazil appears to be in really good shape. All the potential in the world. Argentina is going to have some problems, I think. China is easing some of its COVID restrictions. Beijing will allow some virus-infected citizens to isolate at home. These new measures will begin with one of the city's most heavily populated districts. If you're a low-risk patient, you'll be able to self-isolate for 1 week. Sources citing a shortage of resources and also these protests or social unrest as the reasons for the shift in policy. Listen to this. Bloomberg reporting that those who self-isolate will be required to sign a letter and will then have their homes fitted with a magnetized sensor that will alert authorities when it's open. So I guess for China, that's progress. I don't know. Still seems awfully strict to me, but I think some of the markets view this as maybe a step in the right direction. The EPA will reportedly propose a boost in biofuel blending volumes, citing anonymous sources. Reuters reports that the EPA will probably propose increases in the amounts of ethanol and other biofuels that oil refiners must blend over the next 3 years. In regard to corn to ethanol, it's likely to be 15 billion gallons or higher through 2025, an additional 5 to 7 billion gallons per year of advanced biofuels. Sources also indicating that electric vehicles charged via biofuel would be eligible for tradable credits. So like Tesla, for example, may be able to generate a whole bunch of credits. Soybean oil futures trade sharply lower this morning. The market was perhaps seeking something a little bit different. I'm not an expert on this whole situation, but I'll know more a little bit later this week. And these are all just rumors and chatter here for the moment. But Reuters has been pretty good about their sources and kind of predicting what's going to happen here. U.S. House of Representatives passed legislation yesterday to avoid a national rail strike. The legislation passed the House in a vote 290 to 137. 8 Democrats and 129 Republicans voted against the bill. This new bill allows for 7 more paid sick days for rail workers in addition to the proposed pay increases. This legislation will now head to the Senate, where it's probably going to face some opposition from members of both parties. Progressives are hesitant to do anything that will go against the wishes of the working class or the union members. Some Republicans have also voiced opposition. Biden, of course, vowed to be the most pro-union president of all time during his campaign. So this whole deal puts the president really in a very tough situation. A strike, of course, would devastate the economy, yet forcing a deal could upset the unions, or would upset the unions potentially. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't in this situation. But I think they're going to do everything they can to try to avert a rail strike. But maybe some opposition in the Senate here. We'll see what happens. U.S. ethanol production declined marginally last week. Weekly output 1.018 million barrels per day. That was off 2.2% on the week, down 1.6% versus the same week last year. Still, that's a pretty good print seasonally, normal enough. Ethanol stocks have risen 7.7% over the last 2 weeks in total. Your total stocks of 22.9 million barrels are the second highest level on record seasonally, behind only 2018. So ethanol stocks typically increase this time of year. It's pretty normal stuff. Gasoline demand on average over the last 4 weeks is running about 6% below the same period last year. National average gas price was $3.49 yesterday, was $3.61 a month ago, $3.39 the same date last year. So we're actually back almost to where we were a year ago in terms of the national average gas price. U.S. stock market rallied sharply yesterday following comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The S&P gained more than 3% on the day. That's a big day. The Dow Jones gained 2.2% or 737 points. In a speech at the Brookings Institute in D.C., Powell said this: "It makes sense to moderate the pace of our increases as we approach the level of restraint that will be sufficient to bring inflation down. The time for moderating the pace of rate increases may come as soon as the December meeting." Powell went on to say, "Despite some promising developments, we have a long way to go in restoring price stability." So I think his comments were seen as being kind of dovish, of course. The comments helped to confirm, I think, optimism that the Fed would raise rates by only half a percentage point in December, following 4 3/4 point rate hikes. So this is seen as positive stuff for the stock market, or at least it was yesterday. We've got an export sales report this morning at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. Corn sales for the current marketing year expected 475 to a million. Soybean sales expected 550 to a million. Wheat sales 300 to 625 expected. Cattle market was higher yesterday. Feeder cattle were sharply higher. There was a little bit of cash cattle trade reported on light volumes, 155 in the south, 157 to 158 in the north. In the outside markets, the U.S. dollar is about flat. The S&P is down 3 points. The Dow down 60, pretty quiet there. Gold's up $34 this morning. Crude oil is up 93 cents at 81.48 in the January WTI. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you Friday.